Hey guys, today I'm excited to dive into Fantastic Beasts, The Secrets of Dumbledore with spoilers. So if you have not yet seen this movie, just bookmark this, come back later, and then we'll get into the spoilers. I don't want to ruin this movie for you, but there's a lot of stuff I had to talk about spoiler related, so I figured I'm going to do another review. Let's talk about it. Let's dive into Fantastic Beasts 3. But before we do, if this is your first time here, I'd love it if you take 1 second and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on more videos like this one. Hey, Tessa from MamasGeeky here. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel. Alright guys, so like I said, this will be a spoiler-filled review. If you haven't seen the movie yet, I do have a spoiler-free review up. Go check that out. You can also head to MamasGeeky.com to check out my written review without spoilers as well. But let's talk about it. This is your ultimate warning. Spoilers, 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 spoilers ahead for Fantastic Beasts, The Secrets of Dumbledore. All right, guys, let's talk about it. Let's talk about, first thing is that replacement of Johnny Depp to Mads Mikkelsen. I at first was a little bit bothered by it. It's a little bit weird, right, that they never mention that he's changed, because listen, this is technically the third actor to play the guy, right? I mean, you look back at the first one and you got Colin Farrell. So could they have made this go away with the use of polyjuice potion or something like that? Yeah, they absolutely could. But I will say, after about 10-15 minutes with this different Grindelwald, I was kind of here for it. I mean, Mads is very, very good, and I feel like, honestly, I wouldn't have been upset if he was cast from the beginning. He does a great job with this character. I really, really enjoyed it. But I get why they couldn't do that polyjuice potion thing, right? Listen, the main reason they can't explain that away is the whole point is he is being himself. He has been pardoned, okay? He's literally running to be the head of magic, right? He's running to be the head of this, right? The president, so to speak. And so it doesn't make sense for him to not be himself, okay? He has to, be himself. The whole point is, he's got these crazy followers, right? So that's why Grindelwald has to be himself, representing himself. He couldn't just be hiding as someone else. That just wouldn't have worked. And I think it wouldn't have worked with that character. Yes, they could have been oh, he's hiding as someone else who wants to be president, and then, but listen, I'm so glad they did it the way they did, to be honest with you. And really, like I said, it kind of didn't bother me after a little bit. Probably by the time we got 15-20 minutes in, I was like, I mean, I'm fine with it. I get it. I understand. And again, his performance really helps that. He's really, really good at that. Of course, he's tricking everybody, or ends up tricking everybody towards the end there, because he killed that poor Chillin. And I was like, that is cold-blooded. And I think that's kind of the moment when I was like, oh yeah, okay, all right. The fact that he's cuddling it and then he's just slits its throat, I was like, whoa, all right, yeah, this is Grindelwald. This is evil. And he's so cool with it. He was so, I was going to say chill. He was so chill, killing a Chillin. What was he doing? That was nuts. So, of course, he's trying to trick everybody by bringing this other one back to life and charming it. It's already dead, really, and making it bow to him. But I thought that was great. It just speaks to just how evil he is, right? And he thinks he's doing this for, the greater good, but it's awful. He's an awful, awful person. And then I really did enjoy him and Jude Law's Dumbledore, the two of them together. I'm glad they finally said they were in love. They finally gave us that, and because it's been sort of hinted at, but I'm glad they full on were no, we were in love, we did this. Now I love that moment towards the end. I think where they, the charm is broken, and they know they can kind of move against one another, and they sort of do, and they're holding the wands at each other, and then they walk away. I was like, oh my gosh, that part just it broke my heart, because the two actors in that scene are so good that I felt you could tell, you can see the love they have for each other, and that they don't want to be doing this, but that they each believe in something so completely different and so completely opposite that maybe they should be fighting each other. And I loved that moment. Of course, another thing I've said before, Jude Law, I was not sold on his Dumbledore until this movie, but oh my gosh, the moment when the Chillin bows to Dumbledore, I was crying. I was in tears. I was like, this is our Dumbledore. This just shows how full of heart our Dumbledore is, and just what a wholesome, good person Dumbledore is. And I love that they added that. And then, of course, for him to say, no, it's not me. I was kind of expecting the Chillin to bow to Newt. I don't think I can be the only one who thought that. Newt just seems like, again, such a wholesome, great amazing human, or to bow to Jacob. But I am glad that, we saw Dumbledore. That made me happy. But speaking of Newt, I feel like we just didn't get enough of him in this movie, right? What we get is amazing. I love him, like, when he's kind of giving the debriefing and telling everybody what they're going to be doing on the train, when he gives Jacob the wand. I loved that moment. Of course, I love the little crab dance moment thing. That was, like, the best. I absolutely loved that. Eddie talked about how he had to have someone massaging his shoulder on set because he was holding the lantern so much that it was hurting his arm. That was in the press conference, which I do have the full video of the press conference up here if you guys haven't checked that out yet. But I love Eddie and I love Newt. And so I loved that part. We get little bits and pieces of Newt, like Newt with the chillin' but he didn't have his briefcase for so much of the time. And he didn't have his stuff for so much of the time, which I get. Bunty was there. The whole point was that he couldn't know because Grindelwald here can see the future. But I just felt like we missed out on a lot of great opportunities with him. And this didn't feel like a Fantastic Beasts, right? Part of the franchise. It just felt like another Harry Potter prequel, which I'm fine with because, again, I loved the story that we got with Grindelwald and Dumbledore. I just felt like we could have had a little bit more. And if this continues, which, listen, they ended with Grindelwald escaping, so there could definitely be more. We need to see that Dumbledore-Grindelwald battle, and if it continues as a Fantastic Beasts franchise and not something different, I would love to see more Beasts and more of Eddie, but more of Newt and the Beasts, okay? Then let's talk about Tina. We see her a little bit at the beginning, sort of, and then we see her at the end, and she's not there, and they explain away that she's busy, and I don't like that excuse. We did think for a second, myself and my husband, when we were watching, I thought maybe she was using a polyjuice potion, and she was maybe being Lolly, or someone else that was involved, and maybe Newt couldn't know, right? Maybe she was Bunty the whole time. And then that didn't happen, and I feel like that would have been a cool storyline. It could have been a cool way to have her have been part of this, but not part of this. But I get it. I mean, she's Auror now. She's head Auror, so she's very busy, and she can't help them. I don't know. That was annoying. Felt like a dumb excuse, but is what it is. At least we got a little of her at the end. But I did miss that with Newt, right? I missed having his little love interest, and I did like seeing him nervous at the wedding at the end to talk to her. And to see her again. I did enjoy that, but it just felt like, I don't know, like we missed out on something. And speaking of the wedding, getting Queenie and Jacob back together, there were two moments where I cried in this movie, and the one was when the children bowed to Dumbledore, just because I got like a wave of emotion, like this is the Dumbledore, like this is when I was okay with Jude Law being Dumbledore, and it all felt right in the world. But the other moment was when, oh my gosh, I'm gonna tear up just thinking about it, because it was so intense, was when, Jacob, they're in at that dinner, and Queenie walks in with Grindelwald, and she can hear what he's thinking, and he stands up and he's wanting to get her attention, and she's just walking by, and she's this tear roll down her cheek. And you can tell she's just like, and then later when they talk, she's like, it's too late for me, and he's like, no, and he's just like laughing at her, like, I don't care, like, I love you, this means nothing to me, like. And I love that, and I love them together, and I'm so excited for them to be together and to be married now. And so, hopefully, if there is more in the future, we do get some of them together. I was very happy to see them together again in the end. And then the other thing is they fixed some stuff from Crimes of Grindelwald that I didn't love, and that was the whole, like, Credence is like a brother to Albus. Like, it didn't make sense to me that he was a brother. And it just felt weird, and it was hard to explain, and that was stuff that was kind of confusing in the second one that I just wasn't here for. And so the way they explained, no, he's actually Dumbledore's nephew, like, he's been lying to you, you are Dumbledore, but this is how you're Dumbledore, felt like a great way to fix stuff, and I loved that conversation between him and Dumbledore. That was an amazing conversation, how it took place, like, outside of the stuff, and then visually, the way it, like, flipped when he was laying in the, in, like, the puddle, and it flips into, like, the actual world from this, wherever they were, I guess, out of reality, right, in this pocket dimension, who knows, whatever, but I really, really liked how they brought that back in. Really enjoyed that. Thought it was great. Thought it was a great way to explain away the kind of messes that they made from the second one. So, like I said, I mean, overall, I really enjoyed this movie. It definitely has its flaws, but the stuff that I loved about it was just so good. Like, the action scenes were great. I love the story of Dumbledore and Grindelwald, although this felt not like a Fantastic Beasts movie. It felt more like a Harry Potter prequel, and I get that. It's Fantastic Beasts, yes. Like, we did get some cool beasts, but obviously with the children and those, like, these things, which I thought was a great scene, by the way. I was startled a few times. How nasty were the bodies, by the way, that were just, like, melting? All right, I'm done rambling, you guys, but I gave this movie a 3.5 out of 5, and I'm going to stick by it, and that's kind of my spoiler-filled reasons why. It was a little harder to explain in my spoiler-free review because there's obviously some stuff I wanted to touch on that is very spoilery. You guys let me know your thoughts about Fantastic Beasts, Secrets of Dumbledore down below in the comments. Be sure to give me that thumbs up. Again, you guys can check me out at MamasGeeky.com. You can also follow me over on Instagram and Twitter. I'm at MamasGeeky over there. MamasGeeky. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much to all of my monetary supporters, my members here on YouTube, as well as my patrons. If you haven't joined yet, please consider doing so. We have some really awesome perks, including a monthly Zoom meeting where we get to talk face to face. Thank you again to everyone who supports me.